Hey everyone, welcome back to Childhood Expired, where we talk about experiences in early adulthood. My name is Kike, and I am the fun and wise one.
And I'm Abril. I am the college student that adds fire to the group.
And I'm Kathy, your married working glue that keeps this group going, and I'm married to Kike. Today we're going to be talking about friendships. Do they matter? How important are they? Do we have friends? Let's talk about it. How did you define your friendships as a child compared to what you define now as an adult?
I think as a kid, I was very much the one that I was okay with going up to whoever. It didn't matter. I'd go up to him like, what's your name? Tell me your name. Da-da-da. Okay, I like you. And then from there, and that's like childhood. And then like growing up, I lived in a neighborhood, like all of us, like I lived in such a big neighborhood that like my elementary school and middle school / high school bus stop was only one bus stop because that one bus stop was all of the kids in our neighborhood. So anybody who lived in that neighborhood was automatically my friend, right? We'd go to the park together. We would go to the little things that they had in the trailer park. We'd ride bikes. So like childhood, yeah, I defined it as if I just liked you, I like your vibes, then that's how it is. Or if we lived in like the same area, that's how childhood was like friend for me.
For me, I would say, I think if you just, so I was very playful. So if you kind of like hopped on in the game and started playing with me, I would be like, oh, this is awesome. I got somebody else to play with me, you know? There must be my friend, you know, like, okay, hey, friend, what's your name? You know, it was like a cool experience where like anybody that shared the same thoughts, experiences, or what's that called? Like things that you like if we shared that in common, then you know you would be my friend. Like it was like, oh, you understand me, like let's play, and you know, let's play Power Rangers, you know. I would be like that. Another way would be like, you know, if you were kind to me or if you defended me from someone. If you like were like, hey, that's not true, you know, like I would be like, thank you. Like I really appreciate those points. Till this day, I really appreciate it when somebody like, you know, like takes a hit for me a little bit.
Yeah. I was a really shy kid. I was very much the one that stood in the corner or like hung onto my mom's arm. And you know, like you go to those Hispanic parties and all the kids are running around together and the adults are doing their thing. The kids are running across the dance floor. That was not me. I would not go near any other kid. My mom always says I would stay by her side, and she would say, like, go play with the kids, whatever. I was like, nope, not doing it. I'm staying with you. Mom, you are my friend. That's all I need. So my childhood friends really just depended if they talked to me. I very much wasn't the one to initiate it. If somebody spoke to me and was like, hey, you come over here, whatever, then I would be like, okay, yeah. And it was very much a follower. So that's what I defined as a friend. If you spoke to me and I liked you, cool, we're friends now. And that was it.
But you were like, okay, a follower, but you never followed like a bad crowd. Like you were, even as a kid, you were very intentional of like, yeah, this kid likes me or this kid will talk to me, but this kid cusses at his mom. You know, like,
no,
well, you're bad. You're still not you're not my friend.
I'm going to go back to my mom.
You did. So you still had some like limitations in a sense. Okay, and as an adult?
As an adult, now when I meet like a new person that isn't already my friend, I know how to be more friendly now and talk to a person, introduce myself, but I'm still in a way kind of guarded, and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Like I don't know if we're gonna like immediately be friends. I'm not gonna like immediately give you my phone number. But if on the first round I'm like, you're kind of cool, then I will make an effort to reach out to you or like talk to you more and make that friendship.
Yeah, I think even me, like I think like at least for us three, we're very much involved in the church world. So us as humans, as young adults or whatever, right? Our goal is to make anybody that comes into our space, you know, feel included, right? Especially at church. Like that's a big thing. So I think for me, when it comes to church, I make an effort to just, you know, make you feel included. Like, I want you to feel like you have somebody in this sphere. So I'm still the type of kid that's like, still a kid that will go up and be like, what's your name? Okay, cool. I pick you. You know, like we can hang out.
That extroverted person that meets an introverted person. I was like, you're my friend. You're mine now. You're
I'm
stuck
definitely.
with me.
Well, and I'm for that. Like if a new person comes in and we're gonna approach the person, it's like I'm going with you. Like I have a harder time doing it by myself, but I have a bro where we can be like, hey, that person just walked in. We're like, okay, let's go together. She doesn't need me with her. She can do it 100% on her own. But I feel better if she's by my side.
Yeah, but as a kid, like how you said, like you wouldn't ever go with like that bad group. No, if I liked you, I liked you. I don't care if you were a good person, a bad person. I don't care. Now as an adult, I do have a little bit more caution with that. But for sure, I am. But I do have I'm a little bit more extroverted, yeah. But I do have the social battery on me. That's like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this.
For me, it's like if we like ride the same wavelength. Like if we're on the same vibe. We have the same taste in humor, and first and foremost, if they're Christian, you know, like I really appreciate it when they have the same beliefs as me. Like I really appreciate that, and like they don't have to be the same person as me. Their own personality is great too. I mean, I like not being the same person. I don't think I would handle myself times 3. But it's kind of, for my friends, it kind of is like that. But the only thing is like me in 3 different versions. So it's like, it's fun. It's like we're all different people and we all share this humor and this belief and just things that we enjoy and we share about our lives. You know, things like that we can connect. So things that bring connection to us is what I like in a friendship.
Do you see yourself as extroverted or introverted? Because I feel like I've seen you as moments where you're just like, let's go, everybody. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, let's go. Then I do see you at times like, I don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah, okay. So sometimes I am a person who reflects the atmosphere. I'm a person that reflects the environment. But sometimes I just... like, there's just sometimes that I am tired of being extroverted. So it's like a battery run. Like, battery. It's like a... I feel so that. It's like, you know, like, I've done enough and I think they're fine. You know, like, I don't need to, like, bring their attention or anything. I think... And I'm fine with my friends. And if they're hanging out with other people, that's fine, too. Like, as long as I'm not alone, I'll be okay. Like,
I think also, like, the more he has gone into adulthood, and I didn't know him as a child, I didn't meet him until a teenager, but the more he has gone into adulthood and is now this married man, like, when he goes somewhere, if his already friends aren't there, and it's, like, people that aren't in that close group of friends, then he's a little bit more like, I don't really need to be a part of it. I just can kind of watch. But if his friends aren't there, then he'll be a part of the... Yeah,
I kind of don't make new friends. You have to come up to me and talk to me until we find a common interest. But other than that, like, I gave up on the fact of making new friends because that is not my specialty. My specialty is you come up to me and I'll assess you and be like, okay, cool, let's hang out. Like, there's a weird like I don't know what you call that, like phase or steps or I don't know.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Okay, so that's kind of how our friendships differentiate, or maybe are similar but a little bit different from how you made friends or how you defined a friendship as a child and how you define it now as an adult. Those friendships that you had as a child, your childhood best friend, did you have one? Do you still talk to your childhood best friend?
My childhood best friend? No, we do not talk. We had a falling out, as you would say. But like, I guess the last person I remember being like my best friend, like outside of like church or whatever, was in high school, like my freshman year, because I went to the same like elementary school and then like same middle school, and then my high school year I moved to this redneck white high school and during the Trump era, so that was just a cherry on top of what my friendships were. So my best friend in high school was a redneck lesbian, and I loved her. No, for real, like I loved her. She was great.
You were a lesbian too?
No, I
shorts.
I loved
No.
her. She was a redneck Jewish lesbian. It's in fact actually.
That's mildly
And
confusing.
I loved her because she was so respectful of my beliefs.
Mhm.
I converted to Christianity when I was 15, so like at the end of my freshman year. And so she was always very respectful. She would ask me questions. I'd ask her questions about her beliefs, vice versa, right? And she was always respectful. She was like, I disagree with you, but I respect you. I respect what you believe and all of that. And I loved hanging out with her. I always tried to bring her to youth group. In high school, I had some other friends that I would bring, and I just loved having them around. But I do remember the last time, like, we actually like made an effort to hang out because we never hung out of school. Like, it just didn't work out, right? She was just like, if you come, again, she was a lesbian. If you come to Automotive Club at least one time, I will go to your youth group. And I really tried to make the effort. And I just never did. She never came to church with me. But I have her on Facebook, Snapchat, and it's the occasional like, oh, so great, you're doing well. She saw me when I was working at Walmart the other day, and we talked for a little bit. But no, I wouldn't say like we're still friends.
I think that I can relate to that because the friendships that I had in school was very much like I didn't hang out with them outside of school either, and like they knew that I had my faith and that there were certain things that they talked about that I wasn't gonna be like, oh yeah, me too, and they knew that they were gonna have events that I wasn't gonna want to be at, so like they didn't invite me to things. At least I think that's why they didn't invite me, unless they didn't want me there. But I wasn't that social person either, so like there was like mutual. There was never. Sometimes I would catch them. They would be like, "Oh no, like Kathy's here, whatever." I'm like, "It's fine. Like you talk about whatever you want, or like that's what happened in your day, and we're sitting here at lunch. I'm just." Not going to be like, oh yeah, you were right to do that, or like participate in you bashing somebody else. I'm just not going to participate in it, but I'm here to listen to you, like we're friends. And same way with my childhood best friend, like we have the occasional text and talk about something. We have each other on social media, but I haven't hung out with her in a while or had anything like deep. But I think it would still feel like pretty, like, it would still feel pretty good if I did see her. We just haven't. And I didn't go to college. Most of my friends went away to college and moved a few hours away. So I don't have them near.
For me, I have two. And the reason why I'm going to hit two, although you guys will be hitting one, is because the funny thing about it is they're like the same person. I think when I moved to USA... Yeah, that's weird to say. I barely use the word USA. But when I moved up here, it was like, just making new friends. And then as we grew up, I realized, oh my gosh, like this entire time, I chose the same characteristic. I chose the same personality.
You have a type.
Like, yeah, I have a type. Oh my God. So yeah, like my best friend now, I grew up with him since I was 12 and till now. I mean, right now I'm 22. That's like 10 years. Oh my gosh, I should make a 10-year anniversary with my best friend. It was when we met, it was a funny way because we were always Christian and we decided to play sword fight. How we played sword fight is where it goes wrong. In the Bible it says that your Bible, the Word of God is your sword. It's the armor of the Holy Spirit. Stuff like that. And so the Bible, the sword, we just grabbed the book. We just grabbed it and we were swinging around, and I accidentally hit him, and not till later on. Like one of our other friends.
Accident if we were playing swords. I mean, that's the point.
What? I wasn't trying to hit him on the face, like. So we were just playing around, And I had a hard book Bible, like it was like what's that called?
Hardcover.
A hardcover, and I apparently swung and hit him on the nose, and he started bleeding. But I didn't notice until his other friend, which is now my friend too, brought him to me and was like, look what you did, like you made him bleed. He made it seem worse than what it was. It is a nosebleed, but he was freaking out. And I always remember, and this is an inside joke that we always say to each other, but it's like, I think I'm bleeding. Because that's what he said. I was like, I think I'm bleeding. So now we grow up, fast forward, he's like this amazing photographer, and he is an aesthetic person. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's an aesthetic person, and he's a great friend. And not just that, he is still Christian, and now he's more of a strong Christian. You know, he's a strong foundation Christian believer. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I am that way too. I strongly believe in God, and I strongly believe in the foundation that God has placed in my life. And we are magnets to each other. And I realized, hold on, I have a best friend in Puerto Rico, and I would check up with him and stuff. And he's a photographer. He's aesthetic. He likes video games too. It was like, whoa, oh my gosh. So like, I do have a type, you know, it was like, so I got a confession to make, friends. I was like, I told to each other, I was like, you know, when I moved, like I chose the same person, you know, I was like, Alex, before you, I had the same exact person. Like, I love you guys so much, I'm willing to choose you again, you know? So yes, that's my story. Both of my best friends are still with me. One is just a long distance relationship, and the other one is near me.
I think the last person I would consider my best friend would be like more childhood or youth is like you. Like we met in like, I don't remember when we met. Like no.
We were probably like 16.
We were 16, but like I have no idea. Like it's not a memory in my head.
We don't have like a memory of the day of.
No, not even a little bit. But I consider you my best friend. I think I consider you my best friend like pretty fast. I don't know if you felt the same way.
I think so too. That it was very fast.
Very fast. We just
had a fast moving relationship.
Yeah. But there was a time where I was nervous. Like I was preparing myself for the day that we weren't going to be friends. And it was around the time that you were getting married. Like I was just like, you know, we're growing up. Kathy's getting married. Like things might change. Things might, you know, be different. I have to prepare myself because I'm so emotionally, like, involved in everything.
And that's crazy because I had no idea that had even crossed your mind until the day that you told me about it. And you were like, friend, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah. And after, like, now that you're married, like, I feel like we're more closer than we were when we were younger, right? Yeah. Like, obviously, you're older, you know, you get to have more freedom in that.
Because I think when you're an adult, you have more autonomy, and like those that are your friends, you choose to that is your friend, and we hang out together intentionally and do things like that.
Yeah. And now I'm scared when you have a baby. Like, are you gonna be friends?
But why would it's not just gonna work the same way? We're gonna be even closer because now you're gonna be like babysitting and like.
We're bringing a fourth in the group. I have to like it.
We have to like hold him here at the table for the video.
The baby through an interview process.
He's crawling through the table as we're trying to hold on to our microphones.
Like, no, the baby cried too much. Take it out.
Take it out. Who's taking care of?
We put like soundproofing in the baby's room so it doesn't interrupt the filming.
Somebody has to be watching him at all times.
But yeah, I do think so, because especially as years go, like 10 years from now, then even though we met like in teens, not like early childhood, but that's a childhood friend, teen friend, youth friend that lasted into, you know. So we're gonna last. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know.
Oh my god.
You're gonna last.
Is this forever? I do.
I do. You want me to get you a friendship ring?
Yeah.
No. You already have a ring with me, though. Nah.
And then we can get bracelets. We have friendship bracelets.
Oh, really?
Do you still have yours?
Yeah. But it wasn't. But I don't just us two.
Yeah, it wasn't. We can upgrade. We can upgrade.
That's right.
I do have it.
We'll upgrade.
All right, let's talk about your circles of friendship. What friend groups do you have, and what is a red flag for you when you're making a friend? Red flags.
Okay, well, my circles
You know, when they're holding a red flag, you know, like in their hand, that's automatically like a no-go. Like,
we rep blue. Is that what you're saying? No.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, like, for example, if they hold a green flag, like, I'm okay with it. If they have a golden flag, I'm like, you're the one.
You're chosen. You're anointed.
Yeah.
I think my circles are, so like my very tight inner circle is who I would consider family, right? Mm-hmm. Like I look at you and I see you as a sister, I see you as a brother. I think the other one is just like friends that I enjoy spending time with. Like I'll tell you like some personal things. I like to go out with you, like to hang out with you, spend my time with you. And then how do you say, not the associates, the
Acquaintances.
the acquaintances,
yeah.
the associates, the acquaintances, right? Like you'll see
A lot
them.
of people got offended from me for saying that
You
in
told
school.
people that they were your acquaintance?
Wow.
In school?
Yeah.
Because they would think that we're at some level, and I'd be like, no, really, like, everybody that I know in school is my acquaintance.
Oh my god.
Like,
Okay.
That's why you got bullied.
yeah, excuse me. That's why I hurt others. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I didn't mean it in any intention. I don't even remember how
just
it
be
went.
honest.
Like, it's just like somebody was trying to invite me out of school, like some place outside of school, and that.
Yeah.
But I'll continue on after when it's my turn.
So that's like yeah. Well, in general, like that's mine. And
I think that's
Yeah.
pretty standard for everyone. If
Yeah.
it's not, and at least is for the three of us.
Yeah.
Like there's the inner, there's the middle group that you hang out with that maybe isn't your confidant, but like you spend time with them, and then there's the people that you just kind of know.
Yeah, but I'm very open with my middle one too. Like there's some things like I won't quite say because I think all of us understand that in some point in some way we're influencers, right? Or like not influencers, but we influence people in a sense of like our close friends, you know, like if we do something, there might be a chance that somebody else do something. So if, like I'm having a terrible day, I'm not gonna go tell like that middle circle, yo, I want to kill myself, you know, like even though it's a joke, you know, or whatever, which you shouldn't joke about that, but like you want to say that because you don't know, okay, maybe they're mature enough to understand like, oh, she doesn't mean it, or like whatever, or it's like, crap, like if she feels this way, maybe I can't do her, like, oh, why she does this, you know, all that stuff, right? And I think like red flags, or I don't know, like red flags would be like, you're annoying. You're annoying. If you're annoying and you're constantly like up my butt, like I'm the type of person like I love people, right? I love to be in your presence. I love to hang out with you, but I don't want to, like, if I don't need to talk to you every single day, I don't need to know how
it's more of a loving the people around us, but it's not like we're gonna hang out afterwards.
You
it's
need
just
a friend
like
if that is like too much.
Yeah,
like,
that is too much. Like, I don't need you by my side constantly. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't need, or I don't even want to, like, always have to tell you, like, oh, you're great, you're beautiful, you're awesome, because I don't need that. I'm not in the mood. So I think that's, like, one of my red flags.
That makes sense. For me, a big red flag is gossip. I do not. I can't deal with it. I don't know
But I heard you talking the other day. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
If there's somebody that like is speaking about somebody else or like trying to make the conversation, I will not partake in that and like give you more to add on. Like I don't want to be involved in that. So not that I would be like, okay, never talk to this person again, but very much will like set a boundary and know that I'm not gonna go deep and personal with that person, or that I am going to be careful if I do see it, that I'm maybe I'm going to like go somewhere else, or like try to take the conversation somewhere else, something like that, because I know I'm like, oh, I'm a little uncomfortable right now.
Yeah. I would say one of my biggest red flags is it's more of like, if I'm around you, am I going to get in trouble? Because I am open to, like, I know that maybe you would be a bad influence, but I'm not so easily persuaded. I'm not so easily influenced. So I'm able to be around someone. I mean, even so, I try to influence on them. But one of the things is if you're going to get me in trouble. Like, if you're going to be bad enough to where whatever you do, I'm going to end up somehow, like, linked to it. I feel like...
being associated with.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
By association.
Exactly, and I don't want that. And, like, just, like, being toxic, you know, if you're constantly being toxic and there's no way, you know, as a Christian person, you have to love on others, and I'm open to be able to talk with anybody. But, like, if I can tell that, like, no matter how much I try to influence on you, you're really, like... given into like bad stuff. I feel like I'm like in a dangerous zone, and I'm not gonna be able to influence on this person. And it's not that I'm trying to control the person, but it's just that I want to control what's around me. And I want good things to be around me. I want good environment, good habits, good things around me.
Mm-hmm.
And if this person's constantly being bad or cussing a lot or just talking about things that don't gratify me, like, because they could be talking about things that I can't relate either. Like, I don't relate to drugs. I can only relate that as, dude, that's bad, you know? Like, what am I going to tell you, you know? Like, so I just, what happens is just that I'm just having a hard time being able to connect with you. And I can tell that those are bad things. And I can connect with you. Those are bad things. Those are red flags. Those are going to get me in trouble by association. Yeah. And I just, as much as I try to be like helpful or a good friend, I cannot be around that person. Yeah. So he's an acquaintance. He's a coworker. Yeah. But can't outside of our place of meeting or at work, outside of that place, we cannot hang.
Yeah, makes sense. I think my biggest issue when it comes to at least like Christians, right, in the way that we make friends is that a lot of Christians will set the red flag of, if you're not a Christian, I'm not going to be your friend. And that aggravates me so much, because we're called to bring people to Christ. We are called to bring people to the church. Like, it's not like an intentional, like, I'm going to be your friend so that you can be saved.
Yeah. Manipulate.
No, it's not like,
it's all intentional. And once you become Christian, I'm going to leave you.
It's not like that. But it's just kind of like, man, like, you're cutting people off because of one thing that you once were. Mm-hmm. You were once not saved. You were once unworthy. You were once just as them, exactly like them. Yeah. What makes you, and that's one thing I hate. You look at Jesus and you see him like being friends with the prostitute, being friends with the blind man, being friends with the person that was viewed as inconvenient or the outsider, or and I know the whole, what would Jesus do? And so I want to make a disclaimer.
He would hang out with them.
Yeah, but I want to make a disclaimer. We're not Jesus. We don't have that inability to not sin, Right. So there might be people out there. You might be that person where in the moment, in your spiritual walk, in your spiritual maturity, you might not be able to be friends with the non-believer because it will grab you in. It will suck you in. Yeah. So I want to make that disclaimer, like you might be in a situation where, you need to, kind of how Kike said, like, watch out for yourself so that you don't get sucked in. But us as Christians in a level of maturity, you should be okay with being friends with the unbeliever, with the one who's viewed as an outcast, with the one that is viewed as unholy, unworthy, because at one point you were that. Yeah. So what makes you think that, oh no, they are not this? Red flag. Yeah. Not even going to try, not even going to, commit a little bit. Again, we're not Jesus, There are some limitations to everything, but, I think as Christians, we need to make that effort, because, man, we're just going to live in a bubble for our whole life. As people, if we don't try to understand a little bit of how anybody else in the world works. We're not
fulfilling the commission.
We're not.
And adding to that would be, we are not Jesus, but we are made to his image, and we are there to represent him and carry out the great commandments, all that we are told to do. And sometimes we may not be strong enough, like you said, because we're not Jesus, but we are made to his image to the point that we can go out there and do what we're called to do.
Yeah. So I think like the red flags that we have per se, like, I don't particularly like somebody that gossips. Like, it's not something that defines like, now I shun this person. It's just something that defines how much I let that person influence me.
It's boundaries.
How much I get close to that person. That's the only thing that changes. But the way I love them, as in my Christianity, and the way I pray for them and I'm there for them doesn't change. Because that needs to be open to everybody. It's just about how I open to people, I think, is the only thing that it affects.
Yeah.
So all you Christians out there, if you only have Christian friends, you're doing something wrong, y'all. You're doing something wrong.
Go out to the world.
Yeah.
Don't follow the world.
Ooh.
Just go out there and make some friends. Moving on from that, what about maintaining your friendships? Now, as a young adult, how do you maintain your friendship? What effort do you make, and what do you expect out of a friend?
I think my effort, like at least for again, like acquaintances aside, acquaintance. If I see you at church, if I see you at school, if I see you at work, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? How how's mom and dad, whatever, depending on how close. I tend to be a little bit closer than most people with people, but either way, when it comes to like that inner and then that family circle that I consider, I like to see how you are. Like I try to put the effort, at least like maybe a once a week text. Like how are you? How's this? And a big thing for me is like, how can I pray for you? I think one of my biggest blessings with you guys is that even though I'm spiritually responsible for my relationship with God, the same way you guys are responsible with your relationship with each other. You shouldn't have me check up on that, make sure that's okay.
Yeah.
Same with me with my relationship with God. But it's nice to know that you guys care. It's good, nice to care. Like, how are you with God? Like, how's everything? All that sort of stuff. So I like to do that with my friends. In a sense, I kind of expect that as well. And honestly, like I expect the whole how are you? Like I love that. That's like one of the best things that you could ask me as a friend. But bro, how are you? Like in a real sense, not so that I can just be like, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Like not that. Like how are you? How's your week been? Like how's your family? How's this? How's that? Anything. Ask me how you can pray for me too. Like I love that. Like that makes me happy. So I think that's what I expect, and that's what I try to do in my relationships.
I would say, for me, it has always been about our connection, like having a healthy relationship, like having a healthy communication. Like me and my best friend don't always hang out. We don't always talk to each other, but every time we see each other, we know that in a mutual understanding, we are connected. We are like we're in sync. We're still in sync. We still love each other. We're still brothers, and we we're great. And if at any moment we want to make plans, we can. I think like here and there, like checking up on each other, like there's bursts like of thoughts that come to my mind where I'm like, I really, really haven't talked to him in a while. So I'm gonna ask him. And I do. And I ask him, it's been good. And, we should hang out. And sometimes we don't. We're like, we should hang out, and we don't. But, like, it's just that no matter what, like, even as many times as we aren't able to hang out, we still, like, keep that going. We keep that fire going. We keep that connection of us, just trying to put it into words here. But it's just something that, maybe you don't see us hanging out as much, but every time that we see each other, we still are like, dude, like you're my best friend, you're my brother, like we're gonna hang out someday, like. And we used to like have like this vision, like this dream of he would be the photographer and I'll be the videographer. Like we would like tie in our career like ideas together.
Yeah.
So connectivity, and what the same goes for my best friend in Puerto Rico. Like here and there, I would check up on him. Now he has a girlfriend, like this and that. It's cool. It's nice to be able to be up to date. For me, it's just being able to be up to date and knowing that we're still at the same level that we used to be. That we're still like that we're still close, that we're still brothers, and that our relationship only keeps growing, and that we're not parting ways, because that's what I don't want.
You're checking the pulse on your friendship.
Best way to summarize that. Exactly that.
I think I make effort to maintain my friendships. I very much like want to know the person and what specifically means something to them. Not that I give all my friends the love language test. I'm like, hey, what do you want from me? But you learn the person the more you become friends with them. So I am intentional in knowing this specific friend likes phone calls. Even if I don't really like talking on the phone, I might call the person and talk for a little bit, or likes to go out for coffee and likes to, I don't know, some like to receive gifts. Some people don't care about gifts. They just want to hang out. Like for me, I just want to hang out. So when I want like a dose of friendship, I'll invite a few friends over, and that's all I want. Just come over to the house. Let's chill in the living room, or let's, do something in the kitchen together. So I'm very intentional in specific things based on the person. And I think that makes people feel loved. It makes them feel special. I feel special when somebody does something for me that they know that means something to me. You know, it's very specific. And I don't like have this like standard that I expect everyone to do specific things for me, but I just have an expectancy of like, I know you're there when I need something. I'm not so much like you that like ask me how I am. Because I'm just very...
She doesn't do that with me either. Like,
I like to be
every day I ask this woman, how are you? I was like, you're just trying to make conversation. Okay. Like, it is true. I'm trying to make conversation, but I want to make sure how she is, too, you know?
Just trust that I'm good. But when I need something, I will go to you. Like, like I know that you were there. Or when I want to tell you that, you know, I just feel down today and then I spilled my juice all over the floor and now I just feel terrible. Like, it's just something like that. I will.
You do? How are you?
How are you?
It's just a made-up scenario.
Yes.
That's all that I think matters for me, that, you know, you are there if I need something.
Yeah, I agree. I think with our friendship, too, like, we've always been like that. We are super close, but we're not very attached, you know, like going back to the whole like red flags. Like, I don't want you by my side 24/7. Like, I don't need you to check up on me all the time. Like, I'm not.
It's to a point that it's just like we don't touch the red flags. We meet the standards. We know, like,
we've known each other for so long.
It's almost that. Exactly.
We do have our ups and downs, you know.
Yeah, it's just our different personalities. Like, here and there, we just like.
Definitely is like, you know what? I don't like you right now.
yeah. But those are like bursts of energies. Like, I don't know where I say something that is funny for me, but offensive for you. And
I'm crying.
Or just something that we disagree on, but it's not a super important disagreement.
Exactly.
Friendship. It's just like, I don't think the same, but okay.
It's like we've hit that. How would I say? Like, it's like an autopilot, like a cruise control, something where it's just we no longer have to worry about red flags between each other unless we hear something new that might come up in the future, which I declare not, you know, like in the name of Jesus, heck no. But like, you know, if at any point like, whoa, like that does sound wrong, like that shouldn't be happening. Yeah, like that would be a red flag.
Because the friendship is so deep, it wouldn't
we don't have to worry about it. Exactly.
If something did come up, it would be like a, hey, what do you need? Are you okay? Type thing. It wouldn't be like, oh, I heard this. We're done. You know,
because we know. Because we know each other. Friendship is deep. We have this great understanding of who we are and what we are and our personalities, characteristics, the way that we react to things. We know that's what grows our bond together. That's what makes it stronger.
And having that, like, the calling each other out, like, I know that sounds bad, but like I kind of expect that. Like, if I'm falling short, call me out, you know? Like, I know we had talked on the last episode, like, we get at least you and me, we get easily offended, but and I might be like, excuse me, what? But if you give me like a for real, like, hey, like, you've been doing this and this, like, you can't just pretend like it's not. No, okay, like, I might get upset.
And
but,
because
like,
we know you, we know to
me,
approach you in a different way.
And I and vice versa. Like, I should feel like, you know what, you're my friend. You told me, you love me, I love you. Hey, what's happening here? Like, let's figure that out.
Yeah.
And I expect that in friendships. I want you to feel comfortable to call me out on my crap. And vice versa.
And that's like something that like friendships want. We want to be able to call each other's friends out, but sometimes we're afraid of losing our own friends. But little do they know that that's what makes us.
That's what makes us stronger.
Yeah. Like that's what makes us friends. You know?
Well, I think to end, I want to leave everybody with this Bible verse. It's in Proverbs 27:5-6. It says, "Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses." Thank you guys so much for staying tuned for this episode. We will see you in 2 weeks for our next one. Take care. Bye.